When looking at Spielberg's filmography, there were only a few on this list that I did not recognize. When comparing this film to his others, it feels like the black sheep of them all. Starring an ensemble cast featuring John Belushi, Dan Akroyd, Treat Williams, Nancy Allen, and Ned Beatty, and directed by Steven Spielberg, this film debuted on December 14th, 1979. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, the state of California is completely panicked and fears an attack that will soon come their way. The military plans to make the coast defendable with whatever resources they can find and wherever they can, while the Japanese advance on Hollywood. Despite Belushi and Akroyd being the top billed names on the posters and advertising, they are hardly in the film, and their talents are completely wasted. Akroyd is just a high-ranking general who gives orders, but eventually in the third act just gets bopped on the head and starts acting pretty delusional. And Belushi is just a standard pilot who goes from place to place, making a couple jokes here and there, but not much that he can do in this movie either. The story actually follows back and forth between a chef at a restaurant and his quarrel with a corporal over a woman's affection, and a captain trying to get a secretary alone on a plane so they can make love. And if that sounds crazy, it is. It is a screwball-style comedy, so it's somewhat understandable that they're trying to go from joke to joke, left to right, but it still feels like they're trying too hard to fit the jokes in as much as they can. In my opinion, satire can be at its best when you balance the comedy with some serious characters so they can react to the hilarity that ensues. But with this film, there is no straight man to play off of. Everyone is a giant goof, or an idiot, which results in just a lot of empty slapstick. The humor can range from silly moments, like John Belushi doing a spit take about 4 or 5 times in a row, to sometimes these offensive sexual jokes, or even racial stereotypes that are almost kind of awkward to watch these days. There are a few decent jokes, but for the most part, it just falls flat, and I found myself groaning more than laughing. Sometimes there can be a clever setup, like a chase through a USO dance party, or a press conference stating there'll be no bombs whatsoever, and then one comedically blows up. What's disappointing is they could have had the potential to tell a lot of clever jokes with the setting, but unfortunately, you need to have more than just simple slapstick to get anything else going. They choose to go for that route instead of going for more of the clever writing, which is very disappointing considering that Robert Zemeckis, someone who directed Back to the Future, wrote this movie. The film also could have used a central character that was really fleshed out, and someone who we could have enjoyed seeing their journey throughout the movie, but the closest thing we have is just an average guy who's trying to get a girl, and that's about it. And even that isn't really fleshed out that well. When the film started, and they immediately ripped off the opening scene from Jaws, I knew exactly what I was in for. Comparing this to some of Spielberg's other work, it's clear that this was a big misfire. This talented cast is unfortunately wasted in what amounts to a very mediocre comedy. My rating is a D.